104 of notchskills.net. I want to briefly show you how you could use Photoshop for your web design. There are quite a lot of arguments about Photoshop and all that, but then I just want to show you how, as a graphic designer, you can start up with Photoshop for your designs. Always recall that from the web design is a process. You start from web design, you move to development, to extension, where you could also move your website from being static to being dynamic, and also other extensions. And when we talk about dynamicity of a website, we're also talking about the ability for you to be able to incorporate WordPress blog, which is the most popular that I am conversant with, and probably Joomla and some other content management system, which is CMS that everybody popularly knows. Okay, so let's get down now. This is the Photoshop software. As you can see, the view, we all know from graphic point of view, Photoshop is usually a photo editing software that handles Photoshop, but I want to show you in this video post that Photoshop can also be a very strong, handy, compatible software or application that you can use to design your website. Now the structure, as we're going to move now, is this one. You get a screenshot from a live web view. Here we already have one that I'm going to show you. This is a web shot that we took of a church website that we are working on now. And if we increase this a little bit here, we're going to see how it is. I control and you look at it. This is just a web shot that was taken, and what you do, you open a new file, and it specifies all that you leave, and you always ensure that you choose transparent under the content dialog. All these are normally preset according to what you copy online, you understand. And so we now pasted it on this frame. And one very important thing about Photoshop is when you take a screenshot from a live website and you paste on Photoshop, Photoshop gives you accuracy in terms of dimensions. For instance, if you look at this whole web page here now, it is this whole web page has the finished size here that you're seeing, and the working size. I'm just importing languages from the print medium. Here you have the finished size of the website, and all around here is all about around you have backgrounds and all that. But in the real sense, this is the finished size of the website. And if we check it, for instance, we zoom and we place a guide here and a guide there, and we change our medium to pixels. Always ensure that you use pixels, and then you drag this down here. It's good. You see from the 0 mark to this mark here, you see it's about 1000 pixels. Yeah, for accuracy and all that, it is 1000 pixels, as you can see. But for instance, if you get your screenshots and you take it down to, for instance, CorelDRAW, we all know that in this part of the world, CorelDRAW is the most popular application that graphic designers and web designers use in this part of the world. And then if you say, for instance, you say import, taking a little time, import, and then you go, let's link up to our directory now, and we come down here, that's where we have the file, and we come down to successinternational.org. that's the page we are working on. Then we go down to images, and then we take the screenshots, that's semi screenshots that we took from the live web view of the site, and you place it in CorelDRAW. Well, you place it in CorelDRAW. If you go back to your sizes, okay, from inches, it is in inches. Always recall, with a website you work with pixels. You change your inches dimension units to pixels, and for instance, you center this. That's just selecting the image and pressing P. There will center the image on a CorelDRAW framework, and then you zoom, and then you take your marquee and you do that, and you take your guide also. Recall what we did in Photoshop. You take this guide also, you check it. You see what it is giving you. Is giving you about 4,500 pixels. Now you see compatibility issue. Now Photoshop remains a very high compatible application to web. Anything that you're doing on the web, Photoshop as a software gives you precision, gives you compatibilities. You can have your if you take a screenshot and you place it in Photoshop, you can be rest assured that you're getting the actual size of that particular page that you've taken from a live web page that you're using in Photoshop. Photoshop gives you that accuracy as compared to CorelDRAW that is misleading you. CorelDRAW is telling you that the dimensions of the finished size, recall that we're using a finished size as our actual page. Sorry, I do take an undo there. Take it back. It gives you, it is about 4,500, while I majorly all around websites are max 1,000 pixels width-wise. Height-wise, you can go as much as you can. That one doesn't have, but width-wise, because of the nature of screen resolutions are configured to have a longer horizontal axis than the height axis. So most times in web design, you deal with width. You are more conscious of your width than your height. You can always scroll down and design your sites that far and go down and go as much as you can, and you keep scrolling down. But the extent to which you can scroll in terms of width is a little bit constrained, because web design deals with screens. You don't see people printing their website on paper. Web design is screen-based profession, is a screen-based thing. Web design, and people view their websites on their phones and all that. Yes, with mobile applications, different sizes, but when we deal specifically with websites, classic websites for viewing on screens, on different kind of screens that you're going to be working on, you deal with width. So take that as a very, very important thing. So Photoshop, as we can see here, gives you a strong grounding when you want to start working on your website, when you want to start working on your website. And so why we started out with this style is we wanted to make a careful redesign of this website, and so to help us to get the accurate, to help us to go back to our drawing board, to draw up, to make up a powerful plan for us to work with our design package, with our redesign project on this particular website. We had to start with Photoshop. Photoshop enables us to get accuracy in terms of width, in terms of placement. With this now, we can draw a marquee. We can use a marquee here to to draw up a marquee here, and it gives us a size. We can go to the layers panel and create a new panel. We can fill it up with blank. Here I just say Alt Delete, it fills it up with blank, with black, I'm sorry. And there if we deselect, if we want to find out the size of this particular image, and it is selected, apart from going to view, Windows, and you say info, and that particular is you select that particular, you say deselect, you say come down and load selection. It loads it automatically. Yes, this is giving you the size in pixels. It says it is 97 width pixels. Recall that we're using pixels. Always ensure that you have that at the back of your mind. And the height is 85 pixels. So we have the width 97, the height 85 of this particular. So with Photoshop enables you to walk around. You can if for instance you don't know, for instance we can come back and say that particular area is the logo of the website, and we can rename it on its own specific layer panel. Here, as you can see, this is the background. Recall, we can always rename it and say screenshot of, or let's just say screenshots in short, just to make it short. Yeah, screenshots and short. So that is the particular layer now that you're seeing here is what is, and here you gives you the layer then, and you can also walk around all other areas. You can get a marquee here and take a selection and create another layer panel. You can fill it up with another color. I prefer black for this session that we're in, and you can say deselect. You can deselect it. If you still say you load back the selection, it gives you the pixels, the dimensions in terms of pixel. You can see track selection or transform width and height in terms of pixel. Recall, so this width of this particular selection here is 1007. Please do ignore this 7. The website is actually, because if you look around here, there's some little additions here, and some little, the website is specifically 1000 pixels. So this is just a little additions from when we're selecting it manually, human error, yeah, plus minus and all that. So but this still gives you some specificity here, and it shows you that it is 1000 by 48 pixels. And so when you go back to your Corel Draw file, because I work with Corel Draw, and let's take this out. This is the size, the site that we're having here already. And if I say F4, gives you the whole view, and I say F9, you see a redesign that we're doing in Corel Draw of the earlier screenshots that you saw in Photoshop. Now the power of Photoshop here gives you compatibilities. Recall, you can get a screenshot from a live web page that you like. You can get a screenshot, and then the strategy is for you to now use marquee points to show you specifically dimensions. You can use with that strategy, you can use it to get your dimensions around the header section that has that, for instance, if we hide this, it gives you if we hide that, you see it gives you the navigation bar where you have your navigation menu. Here we have home, biography, message, and all that. Here we have a search bar. You can draw out a marquee to specifically show you dimensions so that you can know how to walk around. And here we have this particular image here is actually an animated image that fades in and fades out, that was done in Adobe Flash or Macromedia Flash, whichever you have. And this particular section here is the content area. This particular section here is the sidebar, and this futuristic planning gives us empowerment to be able to integrate it to a WordPress blog, which we feel very comfortable when we are moving the site from being static, or we are integrating the static site to a dynamic site. So this just basically the framework. And down here you have this particular section here. This is the footer section. So Photoshop is a highly compatible software application that you can use as a foundation for your web design. It gives you specific in terms of size. It creates an enabling environment where you can start getting sizes, where you can plan. And when you come back to your Corel Draw, specifically now, you recall when we pasted the image from Photoshop, even as Photoshop is on Corel Draw, it was giving us about 4,000 pixels. But when we brought it down, we have to replan all that we have here. And if we bring this here now, you see from here specifically it is just 1,000 pixels. Recall we are using pixels as our units, and so it is 1,000 pixels in terms of width. And now in Corel Draw we are replanning all, because we want a redesign of the site. We still maintain the blue. Yes, it wasn't blue in the initial design. It was somewhere around wine, but we had to change it to blue so that it synchronizes with the colors of the church, which is basically blue and orange. So we're going to work with that scheme for this particular website, because we majorly deal with branded websites, sites that are unique in nature. And so if you see this now, if you have a selection of this, you see this is the logo. Here we have the name of the church. Here this particular bar here, let's do a selection. This particular bar here is the navigation bar, and here we intend to have a search bar. Here we're going to be having widgets that will link the website to a Facebook, a Twitter, and a YouTube page. And so this is how we just walk around with it. And so Photoshop gives you the ability to be able to walk around and to plan. And so thank you very much for listening. You can join me in future blog posts much later that deals with deeper things about how you can use Photoshop and Corel Draw to get powerful website design. Thank you very much. Bye bye.